Hi. This is going to be a brief discussion on how hard-boiled detective fiction is informed by the older genre detective fiction. As you can guess, there is an obvious link. But here are the things I kind of want to have you keep in mind. Detective fiction focused on a single individual who was usually quite intelligent, and a person who looked for clues and observed human nature, did interrogate people, often people who weren't forthcoming, but used their mind to right a wrong or bring justice in the world. Just like many other crimes, there originally is often a murder, and you have suspects, and you have clues that you'd be following around to try to make truth of, and bring that person to justice. Some of the ways in which it's different than some of the other types of fiction, however, would be the idea that a person is not brought to justice through violence, or through tricks or traps, but through basically the assembling of evidence in front of them. It's often urban in the sense that you don't have the Wild West shootouts and things like that. Often outside of the initial murder, there's often no violence at all. It also requires, sometimes unfortunately, a lot of talking, being that you have somebody who's, you're following somebody's thought processes in how they are trying to solve a crime. Well, they often have to talk it out with another person. So you're going to have sidekicks like, Sherlock Holmes, Watson, or people like that in detective fiction. But ultimately, the way in which it feeds into hard-boiled detective fiction is the idea that maybe the world is not just and the police themselves need a little help. And you have sort of a lone gunman, but in this time a man whose weapon is his mind, working out problems and solving them for the for justice.